Welcome to 5 Minutes With, the show we spend around 5 minutes or so with a motorsport star. And today on the show we have
Louis Sharp,
Louis Sharp from Rodin in Formula 3. Welcome to the show.
thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. You are a rookie in Formula 3 this year. How have you found adapting to the Formula 3 car compared to previous cars you've raced in series like GB3?
Yeah, it's definitely been a big learning process getting on top of this new F3 car. Coming from GB3, I've driven a car with a decent amount of downforce, so I guess making that transition, the F3 car, although it is a few seconds faster, didn't necessarily feel, at least in the corners, massively different. Obviously, it's got a lot more power. It's a bit heavier, bigger tires. There's definitely a lot of differences to kind of get my head around. But I think no, I've adapted well. I'm enjoying the new F3 car. And I think that the hardest thing really is just the lack of track time. Obviously, coming from British F4 and GB3, you get quite a lot of practice on a race weekend. Whereas when you come to F3, it's super condensed in terms of how much you get before you go out for qualifying. Especially because I've only been racing in the UK. All these circuits are pretty much new to me, so there's a lot to learn in a short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was speaking to Roman Belinsky, your teammate at Rodin as well before, and he was basically saying that one of the biggest differences for him is that he basically get one opportunity to switch on the tires and do a qualifying lap, and that's kind of it. And also the Pirelli tires as well are a lot different to other series. They are very particular in the operating window, and you also really need to nurse them as well. Is that something that you found in the opening two rounds of the season as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like I mentioned, coming from GB3 in a qualifying session, you get 5 or 6 laps on a tire to do a lap. F3, you get maybe not even a lap, and the tires are already kind of going away from you. So it's super tough. You have to be on top of your game all the time. Um, like you said, the tire warm up is so important. If you're not 100% there in terms of temperature, you can be so far out the window, and because you only get the one lap to do it, you never get to make that better. So no, it's super tough, but it's the same for everyone. Everyone's got that same one opportunity, so it just comes down to who can maximize that first lap the best. But obviously, being or having some experience in F3 or on these circuits does make a difference. So as a rookie, it's definitely tougher. But no, just really getting my head around that first lap and just trying to maximize everything at the first opportunity I get.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And like you mentioned, GB3 obviously a UK-based series, and then going half a world away, obviously closer to where you're representing, I should say. I know you were born in the UK, but you represent New Zealand. But how was it actually driving in Melbourne? Because that does seem like literally a kind of dive into the deep end. But then again, maybe after racing in the UK for a year, you were used to the wet weather.
Yeah, Melbourne was definitely a pretty tricky round one. Obviously, first time experiencing F3, and on a street circuit, which is pretty tough. So no, it was definitely like I said, definitely a big learning curve. Saying that, I really enjoyed it. It's a cool place, Melbourne, and the track is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure if you spoke to a lot of the other drivers, they'd probably agree with saying that Melbourne's a really cool circuit. So no, it was definitely tough. Obviously, having a wet Sunday as well definitely threw a spanner in the works. First time obviously driving a Formula 3 car in the rain. So no, there was, like I said, there was a lot to learn, but I think getting a lot of these first experiences out the way in the first race weekend was probably actually quite a good thing, and it means that now if we have another wet race or another street circuit, I'll kind of have a bit more of an idea of what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. I must admit, I was surprised when Melbourne joined the Formula 3 and the Formula 2 calendar, but I'm very glad it's did. It's been a good addition for sure. So, at 17 years of age, you are one of the youngest drivers in the Formula 3 field in 2025. How cool is it being a part of the Formula 1 paddock? Because for those that aren't aware, Formula 2 and Formula 3, all the weekends in that, they follow the F1 paddock around. They don't go to every race, but every F2 and F3 race is at a circuit while F1 is racing there. How cool is it being a part of the same paddock as Formula 1 now?
It's fantastic. It's a dream come true. Obviously, as an aspiring Formula One driver, being in the paddock is 100% where I want to be. It's amazing getting able to see the drivers and see the F1 cars up close. But really just experiencing the atmosphere, like the fans, especially like for example in Melbourne, the fans were amazing. So having all that support and all those people watching you, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely, like I said, a dream come true to be on this package. Obviously, I want to be in F1, so that I still need to progress up this package. But to kind of get a foot in the door and kind of get an understanding of what it's actually like being a part of a Formula One weekend, it's really special.
Yeah, I can imagine it's a bit of a kid in a candy store kind of experience. I know it was for me the first time I went to an F1 event in a media capacity, so I can imagine it's like that, but amplified as a driver.
It definitely is. It's no, like I said, it's really cool. And I think it's quite hard to describe to someone that hasn't probably experienced it. Obviously, coming from these other championships, you're gonna have fans, you're gonna have a lot of people at the track, but when you get to Formula One, it's a whole nother level. So it's really cool, and like I said, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, and the next round is Imola, so you'll experience the Ferrari fans first, and that's gonna be that's gonna be something.
It probably will be something. I'm really looking forward to Imola. It's obviously a track that I haven't raced at before, but from what I've done in the sim, it looks amazing. So I'm really looking forward to getting there and experiencing, like you said, the Ferrari fans.
Absolutely, yeah. What are your aims and expectations overall for this season? Because I don't think you've raced on that many of the F1 F3 tracks. Beg your pardon. I think Spa and Silverstone are probably the only two. Just looking at your race record, how are you seeing this season overall, and what you're hoping to achieve?
Yeah, like you said, I've really only done two of the tracks, so there's a lot, like I said, a lot to learn. Obviously, stepping up to a new campaign, a new championship is always going to be super tough when you're not knowing the tracks as well. With how little testing you get, it's going to be tough. Saying that, I am confident in my abilities. I've won two championships in the last 2 years, and I'm confident that I can keep that success going. Uh, to be honest, I think winning a championship takes a lot of things to go right. So I'm not necessarily expecting to win a third in a row. Though obviously I'd love to, and that's what I'm aiming to do. I think it's pretty unfair to expect in your rookie season when you don't know these circuits and whatnot to aim for that. So I think the best thing I can do is just to be the best possible version of myself I really can be every time I'm in the car, maximizing everything I can do. And I think if I can be fighting for consistent points finishes and race wins and podiums, I'll be really happy.
Yeah, absolutely fair enough. And you're right, sometimes you do need a bit of luck to kind of go your way, but I always say that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So there is that as well.
I agree with that actually. That is a fair point.
Fair enough. That's the usual response I get from racing drivers, so I'll I'll take that. Oh, thank you so much, Louis. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and best of luck for the rest of the Formula 3 season.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be on the show.
Fantastic. Who do you guys want to see on the show next? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, if you want to see more like this, like, share, comment, subscribe as always, and check out the playlist. There's a lot of interviews we've got with other F2 and F3 drivers, and some of those F2 drivers are now in Formula One. So, yeah, kind of nice to see their progress up the ladder. And yeah, see you soon, guys. Have a great day wherever you are in the world today.